Hi guys, welcome back to the channel for another video. I know I look like I'm about to read you poetry here in Library Corner. Do not ask me why I am wearing a jumper on the third day of summer in Australia, because the answer is global warming, and that's depressing, and 2020 has been depressing enough. But I'm down at my mum's. That's why we have this different background. She's been taking care of me. I got hit by an awful virus, not COVID. And had every symptom you can imagine: sore throat, aching joints, and a couple of others that I won't detail because maybe you're eating and I'm just considerate like that. But yeah, it was the whole gamut. I'm still a bit unwell, as you can hear, but mum's been feeding me dry toast, dry pasta, dry rice. It's been a really great week full of just decadent food. Kidding, but that's part of being an intuitive eater, is intuitively, I know this was not the week for dairy. So yeah, it's been a bit of a journey. Also, a big welcome, obviously, to my patrons. Amazing live stream today. I am loving those so much. We've had a couple of patrons have a really tricky week, and the way I saw you all supporting and uplifting and encouraging each other was just, I'm so proud of that community. I'm so proud of you all getting to know each other, and the fact it's turning into a really lovely, bunch of friendships. So just very proud, loving those, and just like you guys said, highlight of my week as well. If you want to come and join those, there is the link in the description box below. It's $5 a month to be able to come to the weekly, hourly live streams, plus a bunch of other cool stuff you get. If you want to be an Access All Areas member, there's only one of those left, which is a monthly Zoom call with me, monthly email, and all the other cool stuff. And I think I added a couple of pen pal spots because they are very popular, and a bunch of them went last week, and I have a bit more room for pen pals at the moment. So please come and join us. It's amazing. So today I wanted to talk about something that I don't think we acknowledge enough when we talk about eating disorders, when we talk about recovery, and particularly why people might be prone to relapse. Relapse can feel like a bit of a mystery, like, how did this happen? Where did this come from? And there's one big pattern that I've noticed, not only with clients, with my own eating disorder history, and when I would run into trouble and kind of go back to behaviors or full-blown go back to my eating disorder. And particularly now that I've been doing this for 7 years, talking to all of you amazing people who email me, message me, and share your experiences with me, there's this very, very prominent thing that I see, which is a big reason why I believe that people go back to their eating disorders. I hear a lot from people who say, I know that using behaviors is the wrong way to go. I know that it's not the right choice for my recovery, for my health, for the progress that I want to make. But in the short term, it feels so overwhelming and so much like it's my only option, and like it's the safer option, the better option. And there's always that logical part of my brain going, no, it's not, but it's not strong enough in those moments. I think it's incredibly important in those moments, and as part of how I coach clients and how I reflect on my own eating disorder and how I healed my own eating disorder, was to look at the function of my eating disorder. What was the job my eating disorder thought it was doing? Very often in treatment spaces, there is a combative approach with eating disorders, which is like, it's evil, never listen to it, just shut it up. And I think that is such a missed opportunity, because for many of us, an eating disorder comes in and, introduces itself as a coping mechanism, whether it's anxiety management, whether it's a response to trauma, whether it's the fact that we just have very low distress tolerance because we might be highly sensitive individuals and people pleasers and, really perfectionistic. It might be that it came in because a big life event happened. It was a few of those things for me. I truly don't believe that eating disorders are evil. I believe that their mechanisms and the way they behave can, their actions can be evil. But I truly believe it is a spokesperson, a stand-in for the most vulnerable, uncertain, terrified part of us, just desperately trying to hold on to, a life raft that is full of holes and covered in snakes, but it's all we've got, right? We don't have the ship coming by to pluck us out of the water. We've got to figure out how to swim to shore. Don't we love these metaphors? But an eating disorder is that very, very dangerous life raft. But for many of us, without the life raft, we're adrift, we're out in the middle of the ocean with nothing to hold on to for the time being. They really are, in my mind, the incarnation of that quote, I did the best I could with what I had at the time, right? So by looking at its function and the job it's trying to do, which it is terrible at, and it is up for a performance review, and we are going to send it on its merry way and bring in a much healthier self to take care of all these things, the coping, the anxiety management, the help seeking, the connection that is actually going to heal us and, lead us to a place where we're fully recovered. If we don't look at that, then we miss those clues about how we can build up our healthy self to give it the responsibility to, in a long-term sense, be able to take care of all this stuff that needs to be taken care of. It's not just about, getting to a healthy weight, whatever that means for each individual, and, stopping behaviors. It's about self-exploration. It's about long-term coping strategies and being kind and compassionate and good to ourselves in a long-term commitment kind of sense. One of the reasons why I think we go back to our eating disorder is because it is predictable. Even if it is terrible, it is predictable. And for a lot of us, that is enough. Where there is nothing else, where there are no other coping strategies, where life has been unkind or cruel, or people have been unkind or cruel, and most importantly, unpredictable, something which is full of rules, rigidities, cycles, patterns, day in, day out, being the same, having the same feeling to it, the same internal chatter, the same awful outcomes, the same awful feelings. To know that that's what you can expect in a world which is so unpredictable, with events in our own lives that leave us totally shell-shocked and that we couldn't have anticipated, the comfort and the certainty of what an eating disorder brings can be enough sometimes. Particularly when we're going through recovery. Recovery feels very unpredictable. You haven't done it before, and it's always changing. An eating disorder changes in the sense that it becomes chronic and it becomes more intense and it worsens. But its patterns and its cycles tend to be the same. They just become more intense, right? Recovery is changing. We're always challenging new foods, new behaviors, uncovering, oh my God, there's this thing I haven't dealt with. And now I'm aware of this, emotional stuff that I haven't unpacked, or it's changing the way that I relate to other people. It's full of unpredictability. And nobody can tell you exactly what the outcome is going to be. They can tell you being recovered, definitely, definitely a choice I would make always over having an eating disorder. But they can't tell you what it's going to be like for you specifically to be recovered. If we have nothing other than that comparison of something I know, something that feels comfortable, something that feels predictable, something that I know is going to have a particular outcome over, you have no idea what's going to happen. You don't know where you're going to end up. You don't know what life's going to look like. Predictable looks pretty good, even if it's awful. That, I truly believe, is a major, major reason why people relapse. That they can consciously know, and they say it to me all the time. They're like, Mia, I know how bad it is to go back and to relapse and to use a behavior. I know how bad that is for me, but it feels comforting. It feels like a known outcome. And I'm like, I get it. I'm not going to slap you on the wrist for that. I've been there. I did it over and over and over again. I come from a very, very rocky history of things coming at me that I couldn't anticipate, or even, life events, or even 2020. Look at the high incidence of relapse. I think that this very thing we're talking about is precisely why we've seen a higher incidence of relapse this year, because look at how unpredictable this year has been. And what do you know better than anything? Your eating disorders, rules, rigidities, expectations, its inner monologue, how it will punish you, what you need to do, the calculations you need to do. That is comforting. That is okay to acknowledge. It doesn't mean that it's true comfort. It doesn't mean that it's true control. It doesn't mean that it is true predictability, but what is the price that we pay for that? The answer to that is being able to prove to yourself incrementally and over a period of time that you are able to tolerate uncomfortable feelings, that you are able to tolerate unpredictability. and that we have to accept that the road to doing that and discovering that and reinforcing that and finding and strengthening that resilience is going to be messy. It's a bit of an experiment. And if there's anything an eating disorder isn't, an eating disorder is not an experiment. It is not flexible. It is not nuanced. It is black and white, good, bad, right, wrong. And that is why that feels safer, because there isn't a lot of wiggle room. There's not a lot of where is this going to go. It usually goes the same way. But you absolutely have the capacity to grow and build and strengthen your resilience, your tolerance, your capacity to cope and respond to difficult scenarios, unpredictable events, or people, or years, entire 12-month periods, where you can be capable of taking care of yourself through all of that, no matter what. Because even if things are unpredictable and scary, statistically, they're probably a lot less likely to put you in real danger the way that an eating disorder can, right? So just a little bit of exploration there about why we might relapse. I think that logically it makes a lot of sense. Therefore, we shouldn't be too hard on ourselves. Obviously, we don't just kind of give ourselves a free pass to relapse or fall back into behaviors, but it certainly doesn't benefit you to beat yourself up and shame yourself and load yourself with guilt. There's no way that you can have the space and the bandwidth to be able to really truly reflect and analyze and learn and say what went well, what didn't go well, and what can I do next time, and what was the reason I did that. Maybe I'm looking for more structure, more control, true structure in my life, and there are other places to find it, not in an eating disorder. You can't be in control of something which is in control of you. And the eating disorder, in whatever capacity it's present, is in control of you. When it's exerting itself and making you use behaviors or dictating rules and what you're going to do, in those moments, it is absolutely in control. So I hope that that gives you guys some knowledge and some insight into why you might have a tendency to go back and use behaviors and relapse when, particularly difficult, unexpected things come up. And hopefully that will equip you with a little bit more information to be able to strategize how to approach that differently, how to anticipate it differently when it does come up, how you might respond differently. And yeah, I just hope that that helped someone. I know that was a little bit rambly, but I haven't been well. I do have quite a bit of Nurofen in my system. So I'm probably a bit brain foggy, but I hope that that was helpful. I am away this coming week. So from the 9th to the 17th, Mark and I are going to Lord Howe Island. So you'll probably see me in this exact same outfit in next week's video because I'm about to film it right now. It's Q&A. But let me know your thoughts in the comments below, whether or not unpredictability and the predictable nature of an eating disorder might have something to do with your own eating disorder and maybe why you've gone back to use behaviors. Or if that hasn't been your experience, tell me about your experience. Anyway, guys, much love to you. Take care, and I will see you in this outfit in this chair in a week's time. Bye, guys.